without further ado then about that, this is the situation overview. The greatest concern again is the prolonged and dangerous heat that we've been seeing, again, expected to last into the weekend, maybe even into Monday. However, there is some possible relief on Sunday and Monday, what to keep a close eye on. However, we continue to overachieve on our forecast temperatures. Guidance has continued to be about a degree or two low, even some places 3 degrees low, and some of the also guidance continues to want to dry out the dew points and the moisture right down at the surface way too much. And because of that, these heat indices continue to get higher than most of the models are suggesting. Luckily, we have been paying attention to that, and we continue to bump up the humidity and the temperatures, which has allowed us to, at least in our eyes, continue to see the threat from the heat. And that's why, looking at what's already occurred today, we've had a couple places get pretty close to the excessive heat warning criteria. They haven't quite reached it, but it's getting close there. We're expecting tomorrow to be hotter, and we'll go over that in a few more slides. But that's why we've already issued the heat warning, excessive heat warning, and then areas that aren't in the heat warning will be in the heat advisory, and we will likely need to continue issuing at least heat advisories into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday is a little bit more of a question mark due to the possibility of increased thunderstorm coverage, but confidence is a little low on that. However, if we do get a little bit more rain on that day, that would definitely help cool things off and could allow at least enough relief to keep from having at least a heat advisory. It'll still be hot and very humid though. And then we're also looking at the tropics. Overall, continues to remain mostly quiet, but there is one area, there's a disturbance that came off the African coast that the Hurricane Center is currently watching, and then some of the models continue to be a little bullish on it, at least showing developments, but that's still probably more than 2 weeks away if it was to provide any impact to our area. And it's a pretty low development right now, but we'll show that in a few slides as well. So here are the current watches and warnings. As you can see, we now have excessive heat warning for coastal Mississippi, the areas surrounding Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Maurepas, and then we're also including the Baton Rouge metro area, and along with areas that are in the central business of New Orleans. Those areas, urban areas. Main reason for like New Orleans and Baton Rouge is more cement, therefore it will heat up more. Also due to the taller buildings, lack of wind. It's just going to make for very oppressive conditions. Also, the morning lows will not cool down much as well. So yeah, like inner city New Orleans, inner city Baton Rouge probably saw lows that were more in the lower 80s. We know that downtown New Orleans did only get down to 84, and that's not cool enough for the body to see any type of relief if you're stuck outside without air conditioning. So that's why we're going with the heat warning a little bit further away from just the lakes and coastal Mississippi. Coastal Mississippi continues to be the winner right now, and that's not a good thing with respect to the heat. Pascagoula hit 100 degrees before 1 o'clock. I haven't looked at any of the observations in the last hour, trying to finish up this presentation right now. They've also hit at least a max heat index of like 111 to 112. Gulfport continues to be pretty hot as well. So obviously right there along the coast, there's no lack of moisture as well, and getting temperatures of that is easily getting these heat indices around 110, and we're expecting temperatures to be even warmer tomorrow. So that's why we've gone ahead and just issued the excessive heat warning now to get it out, allow you more time to push it out to the people you need to push it out, and allow for the media to kind of hit a little bit harder, given it's tomorrow's Friday, and probably more people will be out. So quickly looking at the maximum temperature and heat index for tomorrow, you can see there is a large area of our region that's expecting temperatures. We're expecting maximum temperatures to be above 100 degrees. Obviously it's kind of smoothed out, so it doesn't show you the with precision or detail, but there are a few areas that we're kind of anticipating max temperatures possibly approaching 103 degrees. Obviously, Pascagoula has been one of the warm spots. Where the dot is on this map is not where the actual observation equipment is. The observation equipment is closer to the interstate. So we're expecting the temperature to get to about 103 around Pascagoula. But we've got over 100 degree temperature at forecast at Baton Rouge, forecast at the MSY International Airport in New Orleans. and then all across the North Shore and pretty good portions of Southwest Mississippi as well. The one beneficial thing for like Southwest Mississippi and then kind of the northern portions of the Florida parishes is a little bit drier, lower dew points. You're kind of getting a little bit more inland. So that should hopefully keep the max heat index contained enough to not need this excessive heat warning. But we will be watching it closely. The bigger question from an excessive heat warning is how far south do we need to expand it to include coastal Louisiana? Obviously, no shortage of moisture down there. I mean, most of it is marsh or water as you get closer to the Gulf. Boothbill's been the one spot that has kind of approached the excessive heat warning criteria, usually because of the amount of moisture down there. We don't quite heat up enough, but we are watching it closely, and we are expecting temperatures to be near the century mark down there. So we may need to expand. We're going to allow the evening shift, maybe the midnight shift, to kind of look over some things more to see if we need to expand the excessive heat warning south. But as of right now, they're still in that heat advisory, and it's still going to be hot and extremely humid. The conditions are oppressive. Winds will be light, so little to no relief is expected. And as you can see on the maximum heat index forecast, you can see that area of mostly purple right around the lakes, the marshes of like near Ascension, Livingston Parish, Assumption, St. John, and then of course as you go across the North Shore and into coastal Mississippi, with much of Jackson County really seeing some pretty high max heat index values, especially as you get into both the Pearl River and Pascagoula drainage areas there. Moisture will kind of pool up as well. So that's the area that we do have the excessive heat warning, and we're starting to feel pretty confident about that given what we've seen already the last 2 days. Going to this weekend, I will say that the temperature forecast on your left is mostly Saturday. Sunday may be a degree cooler because of the position of the high pressure, along with a possibility of increased clouds and temperatures. So most of that area, as you can see, the maximum temperatures is mostly from Friday, but this is kind of a combination of Friday and Sunday. I just wanted to show you the max. Again, it looks like Saturday is going to be the hottest. As you can see, we're expecting hundreds over a pretty good chunk of the area again, although most of the area may stay in the upper 90s. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But I mean, we're still talking temperatures in the upper 90s, even lower hundreds across most of the area. Not really seeing much in the way of drier air moving in. So max heat indices again are going to probably range from 105 to maybe 115. In all likelihood, we will at least have heat advisories going through the going through at least Saturday, maybe into the weekend, and then hopefully we'll be able to keep from having excessive heat warning. But we are watching that closely, and again, it's going to be the same areas: coastal Mississippi, and then the urban areas of Baton Rouge, New Orleans, along with locations around the lakes. Looking at our hazard outlook, the 3 to 7 day outlook, the 3, of course, will start basically on kind of Saturday into Sunday. You can see they're still marking out the northern and northwestern Gulf with excessive heat through the 27th. So it's still into Monday. The question again is confidence due to the increase in rain, thunderstorm coverage. That's what we're kind of anticipating. So I would think Sunday may be the last day of heat. I'm not so sure that Monday is going to be as bad. I think we'll see a little bit better coverage of rain. But if we do get this system to kind of rotate around the ridge, it could provide a pretty good bit of rain coverage on Sunday. So fingers crossed we get that beneficial rain, which will also help cool things down. Real quickly, looking at our tropical weather outlook, this is that area we're talking about. It moved off of the African coast last 24 hours. Right now, it's near 0% over the next 48 hours, but in the next 5 days, I kind of have it at a low 20% chance. There is some indication from the models that it tries to start to kind of organize just before it gets to the Leeward Islands, and then with continuing slow development as it moves into the Caribbean. But again, we're looking at this at least 2 weeks away for our area, if not a little bit longer. But also one thing to remember is that if we keep the ridge over the plains and even impacting our area, it should actually protect us, keeping any systems to our south. So I know we all hate the heat, but that ridge is actually a pretty good protection from tropical systems. Now, the one respect with Sunday, even though it's not shown on here, and it most likely won't be any type of tropical issue, I do want to mention that we are going to kind of keep an eye on this system that rotates around the ridge. It's going to move through kind of this mid-Mississippi Valley and into the southeast U.S. Kind of Saturday night, and it may push right into the northern Gulf or just hang around the northern Gulf Coast Sunday as it moves west. And basically, it's kind of going around the ridge, what we call ridge riders at times. And as it moves west, it should provide a much better chance for rain. The confidence issue is the placement of the ridge. If the ridge is not as far north, not as far west, then whatever that disturbance is gets pushed further south, and then most of the rain stays south of the area. Hopefully, it's a little bit closer to the coast, and we can get a pretty good increase in thunderstorms. But the reason I'm mentioning it on this is because it is a system, and I don't want anybody to not know that we're looking at it. However, even if it moves over the water, it's not anticipated to really develop at all. It should be pretty close to the coast as well. So hopefully just more in the impact of just rain. So storm total rainfall, we've been pretty dry, but as you can see, they are kind of start slowly increasing rain chances over the next 7 days. This is mainly for Sunday through Wednesday, but can't rule out isolated storm here or can't rule out an isolated storm tomorrow or Saturday. But as you can see, when I mentioned that system riding the northern Gulf, you can see how it's focusing the rain mainly on areas along and south of I-10. So hopefully we can get a little bit better coverage and help cool the rest of the area off. And I know a lot of people need rain at this time. Looking at our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, not a great picture. Longer range outlook is just not showing any improvement, with much better chances of seeing above normal temperatures than below normal or even near normal. So that still looks like we're going to be continue to be warm all the way through the end of June and into July. However, the 6 to 10 day rainfall outlook, there's really no confidence one way or the other. We could see a little bit better rainfall, or could see a little bit less, below normal rainfall right now. There's just there's no confidence one way or the other. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get a little bit more coverage, kind of increase the rain since we've been missing, along with helping to kind of cool things down some. So real quick, summary impacts. It's hot. Everyone knows that. Heat advisory continues for the entire area through tonight. We decided we weren't going to let it end at 7 p.m. And it's mainly because it just takes so long for the temperatures to drop overnight, and especially over any of the population centers, not just New Orleans and Baton Rouge, but anywhere that there's more cement and you're kind of protected from the wind. The temperatures are really going to drop slowly, and it's going to remain awfully warm. And of course, any areas that are around bodies of water are going to drop even slower. So that heat advisory will continue through tonight, and then by tomorrow morning, the excessive heat warning will take over for, again, those areas of coastal Mississippi around the lakes, along with the urban areas of Baton Rouge and New Orleans, and then the heat advisory for areas outside the warning tomorrow. Likely see these advisories at least continue into the weekend. Hopefully we'll see an increase in thunderstorm coverage Sunday, but we should at least see an increase in coverage throughout next week, as that ridge is expected to break down somewhat. So we'll get to our typical summer afternoon storms at some point.